Do you work in customer service, attending to the masses, and just want to look at that entitled, holier-than-thou Karen in front of you and tell her the one thing you can't? You know what I'm talking about. She comes in, asking to return a 7-year-old gift card that is long since expired and expects you to give her all of that money back. And you just want to say, no, Karen, you don't get to be an exception to the rules just because you're an entitled jerk. Well, now you can. Not in retail, I would not suggest that if you want to keep your job. But in a video game that was requested for review and something that Gray Still Plays has done some great videos on. Take your retail stress out on this Choose Your No adventure. Here is my review of Negative Nancy for the Nintendo Switch. In this tale, you play as Nancy, a cashier at Megamart, the most cliché retail store on the face of the planet. You work with your bestie, have a manager obsessive over sales numbers, and must face the army of Karens wanting to return everything with the iconic "I want to see a manager" card in their back pocket. But you're not Positive Penny over there giving everybody what they want. No, you're Negative Nancy. And Negative Nancy only has one thing for all of these entitled Karens. A nice daily dosage of disappointment. Because you see, Nancy has a condition. She can only respond to all of these retail escapades by saying no or nothing at all. Watching situations escalate out of control until you are put into the hospital by rabid possums, become an internet celebrity and use your power to kill one of your fans, or simply disappoint your manager. Now let's be real. Is this game's story good? No. It's really dumb, really stupid, and just bad. But it's hilarious to just say no to everything, watching Karens, managers, robbers, and more having their sanity ripped away from the word no. It may be dumb and stupid, but it's supposed to be, and that makes it really entertaining. Now when it comes to gameplay, Negative Nancy is kind of a visual novel or choose your own adventure game. You go through story scenes and respond to what people say and ask by choosing to say no to them or saying nothing at all. Kind of like a dialogue choice. As far as main progression goes, the game has 4 chapters. Each one appears as a retro VHS tape for you to watch on a CRT, seeing the miserable life of Nancy, saying no to everyone, giving them nothing but disappointment all day, every day. What's so interesting about this game is that the word no will change the scenario. There are branching paths for each chapter, often leading to the same place but in different ways. Knowing when to say no or say nothing can change your route from helping an arrogant book writer to an elderly woman letting a rabid possum loose in the store, thinking it was the pet store and said rabies-infested possum needed to be refunded. And this is really neat. There are little achievements and items that you can decorate the main menu with as you get different outcomes to each chapter. Experimentation is key and quite entertaining. As I said in the story section, you can do some crazy and hilarious things with saying no in particular situations, occasionally getting rewarded in the process. You start saying no over and over and the NPC looks like they're in a loop. And even if they are, you'll always get an entertaining result. Whether it's saying no so many times until they break and the conversation goes elsewhere, or you give up the loop, leading to the customer complaining that he had to ask you for service 167 times. This can get a bit repetitive with the longer chains, but the result is usually worth it. Especially in chapters 2 and 3, many of the no results are absolutely hilarious, even in a dark and serious way that takes you and your bestie from ordering drinks at a diner to attending a funeral. And that's all there really is to the game. You play the chapters, experiment around with the no mechanic, and see what happens. Pretty short too. A single trek through the game will take you about an hour, though replayability does exist for finding the different paths and unlocking all of the room items. Does that make it worth the $15 price tag? Maybe, maybe not. Next up is presentation. For a port of the game, it looks good. The game itself is no showcasing a perfect game rendering, but that's how it is on PC as well. The models are very undetailed, mouths disappear when they aren't talking, but everything does look colorful and smooth just like it does on PC. Performance is good for the most part as well, though pausing and looking at the story log during gameplay does get pretty laggy and freezy at times. That's all I got to say about that, so let's get into battery life. Negative Nancy gives the original model a battery range of 3 hours and 40 up to 4 hours and 6. The Nintendo Switch Lite gets a range of 3 hours and 55 up to 4 hours and 48. The Red Boxer V2 2019 model gets a range of 6 hours and 3 up to 6 hours and 41. And the OLED model gets a range of 6 hours and 21 up to 7 hours and 29. In conclusion, Negative Nancy is not what I would call a great or a good game, but at the same time it was hilarious and I couldn't put it down. In terms of actual flaws, it freezes from time to time when accessing the pause menu, and some choice chains can feel a bit repetitive. But if you work in customer service and want to say no to all those people you normally can't, it's an hour of hilarity to take that retail stress right out of you. Reviews to Go rates Negative Nancy for the Nintendo Switch a 7 out of 10. If you have any comments or questions, feel free to leave them below. Thank you for watching, and have a great day.